So we're going to start with some yin poses today. And we're going to start in dragonfly. So dragonfly is a pretty intense pose. You stretch your legs long.
We'll try
like Pear's doing. And if you can't sit upright, like if you're sitting a little bit behind yourself, then you sit on a pillow or a block. To give you a little bit more space. Yes. All right, so take your legs wide, sit on your butt. And first, just maybe take your hands behind you, lift your chest up to the sky, and then start to roll down, bring your chin forward, letting your head drop, and letting your torso gently glide down to the floor. Or just think about coming towards the floor. Beautiful. Okay, take a full inhale. And with your exhale, just sigh out. And I see right now, everyone who's here live with the class, it's on the same time zone. But wherever you're at, just notice what you brought with you onto the mat. Your to-do lists, your worry lists. You can just mentally just set them on the side. And bring your attention to your breath. Feel your inhale with your mind's eye. Trace how far your breath goes into your body. Notice there's a natural pause before you exhale. And exhaling, emptying out all of your breath. And notice there's a natural pause before you inhale. So if you can, let your head hang. Let your elbows be heavy. Let your jaw relax. So we're going to have a nice start with some yin. And then my intention is to get fiery, to get sweaty, to get a little bit of breathless. And we're practicing together at all different sorts of levels and all different sorts of days and life experience. So your edge might be very different today than it was last Tuesday. Or it might be very different from your neighbor or even this horrible thing of what you think it should be. But we want to practice coming up to our edges, making friends with our challenges. So take 5 more deep, full breaths here. And then after your 5th breath, roll up. Take your hands about mid-thigh. Get strong in your legs, reaching your heels out. If you're flexible, you'll even notice that your heels actually lift up off the ground. Push down with your hands, and then just see if maybe you can lift your body up for a moment. Keep your head lifted, Akiko. Yeah. Beautiful. And then spin around, cross your ankles, and slide into Sphinx. So just like the statue, Per's going to show you. He's got a nicer nose still. But you have your elbows, shoulder distance apart. And I actually like to place my elbows just a little bit in front of my shoulders. It's more passive. And then you can let your legs be as wide as the yoga mat. And then just for today, pull your shoulders a little bit down your spine. Very nice. And take your chin over your right shoulder and lift your chin a little bit higher and purse your lips like you're kissing, you're sending kisses out into the universe. Feel the effort, like it's a very, imagine you had to blow that kiss for miles away. You can even feel it in the stretch in your neck. And then release and take it to the other side. Staying balanced. So take your chin over your shoulder, lift up your chin, and purse your lips. And you just want to feel it in like the stretch of your neck. It's a little bit like practicing your blue ice face. And then come back to center. Now this is the winner. Lift your chin up and kiss the heavens above you. Or just look like you're going to kiss them. I guess this pose would be called kissing Sphinx. Beautiful. And then maybe do a couple circles with your head, letting your neck circle around. You might notice places that you try to avoid. Instead of avoiding them, just slow down and really move through and feel those little tweaks. And then when you're satisfied, come to stillness. Focus on your breath again. And with our yin poses, one of my teachers, Sarah Powers, she talks about doing like a quiet Ujjayi breath. Now, this is a breath where you slightly constrict the back of your throat. You engage your root lock. So when you're just starting to explore what your root lock is, you can think of it as holding a kegel or drawing your perineum up into your body. And despite how fancy your language gets, in the beginning, your sensation isn't very specific. So you just really want to think about engaging energetically. Like imagine that you were holding the energy in from leaking out into the earth. So in our practice, we'll have different kind of waves and emphasis of different things that we're learning, different things that are introduced to us. And with the bandhas, a lot of times in a modern like power yoga class, you don't really hear about it right away. And that's because it's so hard to kind of see if someone's doing it or not. And it's actually, it takes like about 10 years to start to get into the practice. Notice I said 10 years to start to get into the practice, not 10 years until you're successful. Because in a way, I think it's one of those very long processes that we have to keep re-engaging and keep trying. But when we're in these still poses, you can notice a little, like it allows you to focus a little bit on to notice if you can lift your perineum into your body. Now either stay here or for the last minute, slide your hands a little bit towards you and extend your arms coming into, this is like, it's like kind of active yin, the seal pose. Now, if this is too much for you, your seal can look exactly like Sphinx. Another way to adjust it, like the small pegs on the cello or the violin, is to make your arms go out wider or further in front of you. And that makes it like a little bit easier on your back. You can also make your arms come closer towards you so that you really lift up tall and find the edge of your back bend there. And then slowly with your inhale, lower yourself down to the ground, stack your forearms and rest your forehead onto your arms. Let your body soften and relax. You can wiggle your hips side to side to ease the tension in your lower back. And then find a little bit of stillness. So one of the beautiful things is even in the simplest of yoga classes, you can really be engaged and challenged just by trying to work with your bandhas or just by trying to be very, very precise. So you want to start to notice as a practitioner that you have a lot of say in how you shape your class. Now, often we give cues in how to make things harder and more challenging, but the other side of it is true as well. So some days you might find that your vinyasa, which typically means moving from, often means moving from plank to chaturanga to upward facing dog or low cobra, and then back to downward facing dog. Sometimes, if you're really tired, you just move to downward facing dog and you take those extra 2 breaths of rest in their downward facing dog. Now bring your hands underneath your shoulders and push your hips back to your heels, and then tuck your toes under and sit onto your heels. Reach your arms up and then bend your right elbow and push your elbow. So you're putting your right elbow behind your head, and you might have done this in gym class, and then just push your elbow down a little bit. And you can feel a stretch really in the, where would you say, in your arm, in the top part of your arm. And then maybe you can reach around and hold hands. And maybe you can't hold hands. If you can't hold hands, you can hold onto your shirt, or you can continue to just use your left hand to push your right arm down a little bit. And then stretch your arms back up to the sky and bend your left elbow. Your hand comes down your spine and just push your left elbow down your spine. So here, this is the back of it. I'm pushing my hand down my spine. And maybe you can hold hands. Maybe you can just grab a finger here, or maybe you hold on to your shirt. Or you can continue to just, just find a little stretch there. It's in the front of your arms I don't even know what you call it. The upper arm, the tricep, you're stretching here. And then release, stretch your arms up, and then just shake out your hands. Notice when you're doing things with your arms, you're not paying so much attention to your toes being squished. Maybe that's working, maybe that's not. It's just like, look at the bouncy ball. Beautiful. And then come forward onto your hands and slap out your feet. Sorry, there you go. And then rock back so you stretch the top of your ankles. You stretch the top of your feet, the front of your ankles. And then cross your ankles and roll over your crossed ankles. And you can try, we're gonna try either coming into full lotus, half lotus, or sukhasana, which is easy pose. So easy pose is where you just have one leg in front of the other and you're sitting upright. Half lotus, you take one of your feet into the crease of your hip. And full lotus, you take both of your feet into the crease of your hip. Beautiful. Now hold onto your knees wherever you are and inhale, lift your chest up, and exhale, pull it back, pulling your belly in. So we're doing like a seated cat and cow. Inhale, stretch your chest forward, shoulders back, feel the arch in your lower back. And then exhale, push your belly button back. Feel like you're squeezing into your spine, arching your back. Inhale, forward, open up. Exhale, open up your back. Moving on your breath, about 3 more. Exhale back. 2 more. Exhale back. Und más. Noch eins. Beautiful. Now take your hands to your shoulders and we're going to do a twist here. So you want to stay upright and you want to exhale and come back to center, or you just breathe strongly. You don't actually have to overthink when you're breathing in this variation. My whole body's like twisting around because I'm not on a yoga mat. Let the fire come. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Relax your arms down. And then bring your hands to heart center and we're gonna Om from here. If you're freaking out, you're like, oh my God, my foot's gonna drop off. You can just stretch out your legs, wiggle them around, and then take it the opposite way. Bring your hands to heart center. And we're gonna do 3 Oms. Now you won't necessarily hear the whole length of my breath, but you should be distracted by hearing your own Om. So let it be as long as you need it to be. Take a full breath, empty it out, and then inhale together. Ah. 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 And then release your hands down. Unfold your legs. Cross your ankles and come up onto your hands and knees. From here, let the sway come into your lower back. So you have an anterior tilt in your pelvis here. And then tuck your toes under and stretch up into downward facing dog. Feeling your hips go up towards the sky. You can bend one knee at a time, maybe little twists here. And then stretch one leg up to the sky, wiggle it out, move it around, roll your ankle, bend your knee. See if you can lubricate your hip. And then relax your right leg down. And with your inhale, lift up your left leg, roll it all around. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Get your hip moving in all the directions. And then once you relax your left leg down, you can bend your knees a little bit and really stretch your hips up and back. And then bend your knees a little deeper and then bend your elbows a little bit. And then bend your elbows a little deeper and squeeze the bony part of your elbows together. So this is turbo dog. Another way to make your practice more challenging if you need some extra fire. And then straighten your arms first. And here you really want to feel your spine. So with your knees bent, you can feel that you have lots of space in your spine. And you want to keep that space and only straighten your legs as much as you can, keeping the length in your spine. So it's okay to use a bent leg in downward facing dog. Take another fueling inhale. Empty your breath all the way, breathing through your nose. Look forward and either hop or walk your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. So you want a nice natural spine here. Chest reaching forward, getting broad. And then with your exhale, bow forward, let your head drop. Let's take a couple extra breaths here. So really soften your knees and you can feel your ribs releasing down to your thighs. You want to be rolling forward with your weight a little bit here. Feel your belly button lift to your spine. And then with your next inhale, push down with your heels and start to roll up, stretch up, reach your arms up to the sky. And just take a moment with your arms lifted over your head and feel. So you can reach your arms up to the sky, and that's half of the stretch. The other less noticeable part is you're pushing down into the ground. So you get long between 2 points. Now, hook your thumbs together, lift up a little bit higher, and then tuck your tail, slide your hips forward, and see if you can come into a baby back bend here. Letting your gaze lift upwards, actively pulling your thumbs. Then inhale straight up. And with your exhale, soften your knees and bow down. Inhale, halfway lift, engage your abdominals, broaden your chest, and then keep the space and step back to plank. So you have your hands directly underneath your shoulders, your heels pushing back, actively reaching back. Now you want to get as many muscles as possible to help you out pretty much everywhere, but especially here. So pull your belly up to your spine. You want to lift up in between your shoulder blades. Now, even when you're so powerful and strong, can you soften your face and smile and relax your forehead? Then with your next inhale, you can say no, I can't. Inhale, reach to your tippy toes. So you shift your whole body forward and then drop your knees to the ground and slowly lower down to a knee supported chaturanga. Oh, I don't do that usually. It's just you have your knees on the ground. And then lie all the way down onto the ground. Tip. Inhale, low cobra. So let's take some breaths here. Low cobra, you have your elbows bent. You can even pull your hands back further if you want, pair. And you're pushing your toenails into the ground. Your knees are so engaged that there's space underneath your knees. Your thighs are rock hard. Inhale a little bit higher. And then with your exhale, push your belly button back to your spine. And that's your, like someone's poking you in the belly button and pushing you into downward facing dog. You can come onto your knees if you need to, or go straight to down dog. So just to clarify, so what I did say is I had you in plank, and then I had you drop your knees and do a chaturanga. Now, you can also do from plank, everyone, let's try this together. Come forward to plank. And this time we're gonna go into Ashtanga Namaskar. It's a mouthful, but it's useful. You drop your knees, your chest, and your chin. So you should look like an active inchworm. And then you slide forward into low cobra. Very nice. Exhale, coming back onto your knees if you need to, come to downward facing dog. Beautiful. And if you didn't totally understand, not a big deal. That's the thing about a practice. You'll have another opportunity, I promise. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way, and then lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, glide your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet, roll up to the sky, stretch up high. And with your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center, bow down, softening your knees, dropping your head. Inhale, halfway lift, and step back to plank. Now this time, yogi's choice. Ashtanga Namaskar, chest, chin, and knees, or just come down to chaturanga, elbows and shoulders the same height. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra, strong legs either way. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees and reach your hips up and back. So notice, continue to breathe through your nose. And it's like you have a dramatic breath, like you want to sound like the sexy female version, not you, Pear Bear, the sexy version of Darth Vader, or the enlightened version of Darth Vader. So you have a dramatic breath. And especially when you're first starting out, it feels awkward, but it's one of the ways to really increase the fire in your body. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way, look forward, and then hop your feet quietly in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Feel your chest broadening. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Push down with your feet, roll up to the sky, stretch up tall. And with your exhale, Samasti Tihi. Now, bend down low enough that your fingertips can touch the ground. Now you're going to keep your hips there and then raise your arms up. Katasana. So let's breathe here. So the most power you get is when you have your legs squeezing together and you have the weight in your heels. Feel your butt dropping down and your heart lifting up. You're stretching your arms up, and for a radical practice, you have a hint of a smile. Now take another full inhale. Let your hips sink a little lower, your heart lift a little higher, and with your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. With your exhale, chaturanga or ashtanga namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. Now bend your knee and let your hips spin open. You want your foot flexed, your right leg is really active. And you're looking to the inside of your left foot so you can see that your left heel is reaching down to the ground. And now I want you to feel that you're pushing your right armpit towards your left ankle. Now this is the part in your practice, if you really want to challenge yourself, you can take your left hand and just like see if you can give yourself a slap 5 on your foot. Yeah, nice. Take another full inhale here. Then with your exhale, take your right knee to your left elbow or higher. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, stretch your right leg long, and with your exhale, step your right foot all the way forward to your right thumb and place your left knee on the ground. Rise up, supported crescent lunge. And with your exhale, open up, twisting to your right. Inhale here, reaching from fingertip to fingertip. Exhale here, twisting a little bit more. Then inhale up to center, and with your exhale, sweet chaturanga, or the floor, or Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your knee and let your hips spin open. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to twist your spine. And so what you're doing is you're moving your hips, but keeping your shoulders still. And your spine twists in between. So get really active with your whole left leg. So even your toes are active. So your foot's flexed and your toes are spreading out. Take another full inhale. And with your exhale, take your left knee to touch your right elbow or higher. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, bend your knee and tap your left elbow. Inhale, stretch your leg long. And with your exhale, step your left foot all the way forward to your thumb and bring your right knee down onto the ground. Rise up, supported crescent lunge. And with your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale here, reach through your fingertips. Exhale here, twist a little bit more. Then inhale up to center, maybe enjoying a little back bend. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga, or the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees. Let your hips reach up and back. Let your gaze be also soft and land in between your feet if you're a beginner. And if you've been practicing for a while, you can start actively starting to lift your gaze to your belly button. That's the Ashtanga Dristi in this pose. Now notice your breath. It's probably getting a little bit more fiery, a little bit more challenging. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Look forward, lift up your heels, bend your knees, and hop your feet quietly in between your hands. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift. Fill the back of your lungs. Exhale, release and bow down. Now drop your hips, bend your knees, rise up. Ooh, Katasana. Exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up to center. Exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center. With your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, upward facing nothing, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, I love chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, bring your right knee to your armpit. Inhale, drop your knee down to your wrist. And with your exhale, pulse your knee up to your chest. And then step your right foot next to your right thumb. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Your back leg is lifted, or if you want the support, you can keep your knee down. And then with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale here, exhale here. Then inhale up, crescent lunge, and exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior, and exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, leading with your heart like that. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your left knee and take it to your left armpit. Inhale, drop your knee down to your wrist. Exhale, pulse it up to your chest. And then step your left foot next to your left thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. Your back leg's lifted and strong. Exhale, open arm twist to your left. We're staying a whole breath here. So reach through your fingertips on the inhale. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Then inhale up, crescent lunge. You look beautiful. And with your exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And with your exhale, find your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So I know the pace we're going at is maybe a little on the slower side, but it's a slow burn. And so one of the things to play with is how can you feel beautiful in this, or how can you feel elegant or lyrical, or maybe you just want to feel really strong, but you can kind of focus on it and you can make this temperate with your focus. All right, you're going to lift up your heels as you breathe in, bend your knees as you exhale, and lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, drag your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Bend your knees, drop your butt. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up to center with your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center with your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky, and with your exhale, take your right knee to your right elbow and enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your foot forward and rise up, crescent lunge. Now with your exhale, you're going to drop your back knee down to the ground, and inhale, straighten both of your legs. Exhale, drop down, bending both your knees. Inhale, stand up. One more time. Exhale, drop down. Inhale up, both your legs straight. Now exhale, bend your knees, come down one more time. Now this time, you're going to keep your right knee bent, and you're going to stay this low and just straighten your left leg. Oh yeah, beautiful. Now inhale, lift your arms up high, and with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Reach through your fingertips. With your next inhale, lift up, crescent lunge. Exhale, open up, warrior two. We're gonna breathe here. So let your shoulders soften, but your arms can stay up there, Akiko. This is why I have video. Yeah, but reach through your fingertips. I promise I've never had a student lose an arm yet. Just one lost a foot. That's a different story. So mentally, you can help yourself. Instead of thinking of like being obedient and just holding the pose, think about recreating it with every breath, that you're stretching your arms out, that you're reaching through your middle fingers so your lower muscles on your arms get taut and strong. Keep lunging with your right knee. You're active even in the same pose. Now inhale, reverse your warrior. So if it's too much to look up at the ceiling, you can always look down at your back foot. Now lunge nice and deep and imagine, Akiko, that I'm coming to you and I'm lifting your ribs, both of them, up out of your waist. Yes, so that your right ribs, that's your left ribs, lift up. Yes, very nice. Take another full inhale here, and with your exhale, side angle. So we're going to do side angle variation. So you bring your elbow onto your knee and then stretch your palm, flat to the ground, your arm stretching over your ear. You got it, Bea. You're looking good. Now, just take a moment here and notice that your elbow is not supporting your weight. So lift up your right elbow and just maybe do like a pinup pose, like, yeah, hey, or like fix your eyebrows, or like whatever you need to. But just notice that that is a guide and not a weight-bearing structure. Now, with your exhale, take your hands behind your back. Inhale, lift up your heart. And with your exhale, bow forward to humble warrior. Let your head drop. Let your root lock engage. So you really want to drop your head towards your front ankle. Humble warrior. It's hard to be humble. You know, the strongest warrior can surrender, or the strongest warrior cannot throw the punch. All right. With your exhale, vinyasa, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing doggy. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow. Enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch your left leg long, and with your exhale, step your left foot all the way forward to your left thumb and rise up, crescent lunge. With your exhale, bend your left knee, tap it down to the ground. Inhale, straighten both your legs. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, straighten. Now exhale, tap down. Now notice how wonderfully low your left thigh is. And then with your inhale, lift just your back leg so you stay the same height. Maybe enjoy the back bend a little bit more. Take another full inhale. With your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Sorry, the left, that's the right way. Then inhale up to center, and with your exhale, open up warrior two. And it would just be weird if we didn't hold this side too. Now let's do this together. Everyone, just put your arms down for a second. Okay, there you go. It's fine. Now raise your arms back up and get them strong. Lift your shoulders way up into your ears. Not so sexy, right? So drop them back down. Yes, beautiful. So this is a remarkable pose because we're strong and relaxed, and we're actively engaged while opening up our hips. It's like the perfect balance of male and female. Notice where you're backing off. Maybe it's your lunge, maybe it's your arms, or maybe you're not relaxing actively. Remember, I love you. And now inhale, reverse your warrior, staying lifted in your ribs. Very nice, Akiko. Feel that difference when you lift up out of your right ribs. Yeah. If it's too much to look up, you can look at your back foot, but don't lose your powerful lunge in your left leg. Take another full inhale, and with your exhale, come into side angle variation. So we'll have a nice long line all along the right side of the body. Eventually, you might be able to put your hand down to the floor, but if you have kind of normal length arms, it takes a while. Your right palm is facing the ground. Now, just to test yourself, take your left elbow, maybe put it behind. You can put your elbow just out to the side like your pinup doll. You're so gorgeous, yeah. Or you can fix your eyebrows or wipe the sweat from your brow. Fix your hair, that's beautiful, Bea. You can relax your arm onto your knee again. Take another full inhale and then reach your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Now just switch your grip from last time so the other pinky's in front. And then bow forward. Be humble. So humble is really, it's like, we're not very good at it. We've been in a kind of culture that awards people for boasting or saying that they're the best, it seems. So be at your edge, be shaky. This is what we're practicing for. We're not practicing for things where we feel strong and stable. We're practicing to stay ourselves when the ground beneath us shakes and our body is on fire. So take another full inhale and exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, just sigh out. All right. And just start to bounce a little bit in your downward facing dog. Just a little like Like you're really excited and oh my gosh, this downward dog is so awesome. It's gonna be great. And then just start to hop your feet out and in and out and in. So it's downward facing jacks. Very nice. Now, if this is too easy for you, you can go out and in and forward and backwards and out and in and forwards 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 and backness for 10, 9, 8, no, just kidding. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees down to the ground and lift up onto your knees, standing nice and tall. And take your hands behind your back. And if you have it, turn your fingers so they point up your spine. Very nice. And then squeeze your elbows together. Let your hips slide forward and drop your head back. Now, this might be as far as you're going to go today. But if you are Sabina or Kika, you can drop your hands down to your heels. You want to still feel like your hips are pushing forward, your head's relaxing back. You want to feel the expansion of your chest. There's no point in being strong if you can't be open-hearted and strong. And then inhale, lift up, and with your exhale, come back to child's pose. It's okay to have your breath get a little wild or feel your heartbeat racing. That's what we're here for. All right. Now, come up onto your knees again. So, to make your heels a little bit closer, if you're not sure where your back flexibility is, you can tuck your toes. Can you just show? You can tuck your toes underneath. Yeah. So if you want to have your heels a little bit closer to try to hold onto your heels for the first time, that's a nice way to try. If not, if you've done this a lot of times and you're wearing purple pants, then you're going to flatten your toes out and stretch your toes long. Push your hips forward, lift your chest up. Imagine like you're bending back over a huge barrel, and then drop back into camel pose. Now see how active you can be in the posture. Once you have the grip on your heels, you want to hold your heels that if you were to let go, you'd like flip open forward. Let your head go. Now, if you're feeling courageous, you can stick out your tongue and look at your third eye and roar like a whispering lion. Beautiful. And then come back up. Exhale, child's pose. And then inhale, lift up. Cross your ankles and roll over your crossed ankles. Or just take your hips to one side. Exactly. Bend your knees. And hold on to the backs of your thighs. And pull your chest and your belly and your everything towards your thighs. So really, it's really like pull your sternum even forward. Very nice. And then lift up your legs and your toes and spread out your toes. Really keep your toes really active here. And then maybe see if you can stretch your arms out. Maybe you can't yet. Now, you're trying to effort your elbows closer to your toes than your knees. So you're trying to bring your hands more forward, Akiko. That's what I mean. Or your knees more towards your chest. There you go. Beautiful. Maybe you can straighten your legs. Keep your chest lifting. And with your exhale, come into low boat. Inhale, high. Exhale, low. We're just doing it a couple more. Inhale high. Exhale low. Inhale high. Exhale low. Hold low for 5, 4, 3, 2, and bridge or wheel. So bend your knees. Slide your feet towards your buttocks. Again, feel the strength in your feet to help lift up your hips. You can, if you're just staying in bridge, you can really use the backs of your arms actively, either by having robot arms like Pear is showing right now, or by interlacing your fingers underneath your hips, pushing your arms down. Keeps moving your knees towards your toes. You want to get to that moment in your yoga posture where you don't want to be there, and then make friends with that moment. Be there one more breath. And then release your hands and slowly roll your back down to the mat. Take your feet wide, let your knees fall together. All right, bridge or wheel. Now, don't overthink it. We can be like, oh, but I'm tired. Da, da, da. Just let your body jump into wheel, jump into bridge, whichever one works for you. Now, find the dynamic action here. So your chest is coming towards your elbows and your knees is moving towards your toes. Feel your inner thighs squeezing towards one another. Pushing down with the insides of your feet a little bit more. Spin your toes in a little bit more. Prepare for 5, 4, 3, 2, none. Come back down. Let your knees fall together and your feet slide out. And then last one for today, bridge or wheel. Give it your all. It's what actually allows you to feel better afterwards. Now, if you want a little extra, you can take one leg up at a time up into the air. Or yes, you can totally go from handstand into full wheel. Or you can do some upside down push-ups. Or maybe you can just stay in the pose and that's your extra today. And then find your way back. Let your knees fall together. Your feet slide out. Take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Maybe your breath is just steady and cool as a cucumber. Most likely not. Notice how you react when you're pushed to your edge. And then slide your feet in. And we're going to do a little variation on our twist today. So you're going to bring your right ankle to the outside of your left knee. Push your right knee away a little bit, as if we were going to do eye of the needle, but we're not. Now just let your left knee and foot come down to the ground on the left-hand side, so that your right foot is stepping on the floor and your right knee is pointing straight up. You should feel really a stretch in your side body here, a little bit more than the traditional twist. You can bring your gaze to your right or just above you. Yeah, that looks good. Now together, take a full breath in, and with your exhale, just sigh out. Oh. So we want our yoga practice to train us not for the easy moments in our life, but for the hard moments in our life. So if your breath got wild and your heartbeat started racing, like that's what we came here for. There's a danger in always seeking to feel comfortable, that we start to notice that that's where we feel like ourselves. And when we feel uncomfortable, we don't have the same tools available to us. So one of the patriarchal kind of handicaps is that often we're working in kind of a crisis mode. And notice that people's like morality drops out of the equation. But it's an emergency. I need to get this done right now and right here. And so all of my ethics or my ideas about how I should be are out the window. And then come back to center, unwinding your legs, placing your feet on the ground, hip distance apart, and take your left ankle to the outside of your right knee. You can push your left knee away a little bit, just feels nice. And then drop your left foot and right knee to your right. Maybe your gaze goes up to the ceiling or all the way to the left. So by practicing being at our edges and by practicing a practice that always invites us to kind of play with our becoming, we're practicing to be ourselves even in the moment of crisis. We're practicing to be ourselves even when challenged and when it's not comfortable. And then find your way back to center and stretch your body out, making your way into Shavasana. So if your lower back hurts, you can always have your knees bent, with your knees falling together, just like Pear's demonstrating here. You got it, Bea. That's right. But laying flat, maybe covering yourself or not. Maybe on your yoga mat or not. Let gravity hold you. Feel your body rebound and rest. And your job is to stay present in the sensations of your body, the sounds of the room, and this moment here. To your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes and your face and your nose. And then roll over onto your right hand side, hugging your knees to your chest, and just feel for a moment the vibrancy and the vitality that you've shaken to life. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allowing your hands to meet at heart center. And even if you're alone in your room, know that you're not alone in this moment. So let's close with one final Om. Close your eyes, empty your breath, and take a deep inhale. Ah. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say Namaste. And then make some noise. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Pear, for modeling and helping with the stuff. And keep practicing, even if it was awkward. It just gets better.